All right, so this is our agenda. So as I said, this is called Basics. So I'm going to teach you what is a CRM, why you need a CRM, the advantages of Zoho, basic terminology, and then we'll look at the actual flow in our system, and we'll talk about pricing at the very end. For more advanced features, such as how to customize page layouts, customizing the tabs, setting up fields, all that is covered every Thursday at 1 p.m. Central Time. All right, so you can go back to the webinars page, which is zoho.com/CRM/webinars, and also register for Thursday. So this is all of the basic introduction to our software. All right, so let's begin with what is a CRM. So it stands for Customer Relationship Management. Right, so your customer is the buyer of your product or the user of your product or service that you are then supplying to them. The relationship is all of your interactions between the customer and yourself, usually gathering requirements and then communicating with them via our CRM itself. And management refers to the overall processes and the organization of this interaction. So we're going to use the CRM to streamline your sales process. It includes lead contact and account management. So you can track your pipeline and then report on your sales at the end of the month, end of the week, end of the quarter. And then our CRM also goes above and beyond just sales, and it also includes marketing campaign, inventory, and customer support modules. All right, let's go ahead and move on. So why do you need a CRM? Well, a CRM is going to measure your sales activities. So a lot of you have come from spreadsheets maybe, or a contact manager, maybe using traditional pen and paper, post-it notes. I mean, have all sorts of varieties of ways to track your sales. Now you want to actually put them into a system, be able to track and measure your growth across month to month. Along with the customer relationships that you can follow up and manage, you can also add tasks, integrate your calendar, and add notes every time you interact with a customer. It will help you follow up with the customers because there's workflow automation that will allow you to have notifications and reminders when things need to happen. You're adding all of your users, so those are your employees, and they're going to have access to all the customer information, and you can choose how it's shared in the CRM. And then this should, in the end, once it's set up, save you time and effort and result in greater profits for your business. So why Zoho particularly? Well, it's cloud-based, which means you can access it on any device, laptop, desktop, iPad, iPhone, Android tablet, Android phone, BlackBerry, etc. Fully customizable. You can change the fields, the tabs, the page layouts, the mandatory fields, the related lists, which I'll explain, and it's very easy to set that up. Zoho offers an integrated suite of apps, so if you want to add campaign management, a help desk system called Zoho Support, further invoicing software, accounting software called Zoho Books, hosting your mail through Zoho Mail, we offer all of these different apps. We can also integrate with your existing mail server, so that's a huge benefit of Zoho CRM, so you can just pull all your emails into one system. And affordable pricing, as you've seen on our website, we have a free edition, one starting at $12 per month, and the most popular $20 a month professional edition, which is the version we'll be covering today, and then the enterprise edition, which is $35 per month. All right, and as I said before, this CRM is going to be very, very easy to set up, even if you have no experience. So once again, if you want to cover the setup section, we are going to go over it on Thursday, and I'll teach you how to customize the system. All right, so let me introduce you to some basic terminology that you'll see in our user guide, as well as the CRM itself and this webinar. So cloud-based, so everyone must understand cloud-based means not only can you access it on any device, also means your data itself is stored on our servers. All of our servers are located within the United States. Your data is always backed up, secure, and encrypted. A user and a license. I mentioned the professional edition is $20 per user per month. A user has a unique login and password. All right. Now you first buy licenses. So let's say you have a company of 10 people. You bought 10 licenses, and that means you'll have 10 users. If someone leaves your company, you're down to 9 users, but you still have 10 licenses. You either downgrade your license or you hire another person and assign that license to a new user. The administrator, the original person that signs up, will be by default the administrator. You can add more later on. Administrator means that you have access to all the customization, you can set up other users, and you have access to every single module and record in the CRM. A module, these are the tabs at the top of the CRM: lead, contact, account, potential, also known as sections. A field is a point of data entry: last name, first name, email, phone number, description, all those are fields. All right. A lead is defined in our system as, first, they're your original point of contact, and they could be a person, an organization, or your company that you're planning to do business with. All right? They're unqualified. They're also referred to as prospects. In the CRM, you follow up with these people and qualify them in order to convert them into a contact. A contact would be someone that you have qualified and you are pursuing a sale, a deal, or an opportunity with. They're also considered in your sales pipeline. The account is related to the contact. The account is the company that the contact is a part of or works for. The potential section, also known as an opportunity in other CRMs, is your actual sales pipeline tracking system. When you create a contact, you're going to track your potential sale through different stages, and those stages will determine your pipeline, and then you'll know if it's closed, lost, won, or in other steps that you can customize. All right, so here is a sales funnel. So in the first part of the CRM, you have your leads. Usually people have thousands of leads. They're purchasing them. They're generating them from outbound call campaigns, email campaigns, all sorts of direct marketing. You're purchasing the list from a third party. All different ways you collect thousands of different names in your system, right? Then you follow up. Then you're qualifying them, right? So you're going to have less people that actually get qualified. You actually can talk to on the phone, and whatever your sales reps need to say during this conversation, that's your qualification. You add your notes, you add your tasks, you add your activities, etc. You fill in the fields, their name, their phone number, etc. as you move forward. Then you convert them into a potential contact. You follow up their contact, and hopefully some of those will actually turn into customers. So the basic sales flow right here. So this is possible in our CRM. And here's a more in-depth view of that sales funnel. So you run your campaign first, you generate your leads. Once those leads are generated, they're pulled into our system either through an import, a web form, or you're manually entering them. Then you're assigning the leads. Sales reps will be assigned their leads depending on what system you want to follow for lead assignment. Then you follow up. You're going to phone them. You're going to email them. You're going to meet with them. You're going to track all of that in the system and qualify them. Once you qualify these leads, then they're going to convert them to an account and a contact. And you're also going to start tracking your sales opportunity. You're going to continue following up as you move forward with your sales opportunity, and hopefully, where the smiley face is, you win the deal. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to show you this exact flow in our system. So moving over, here is Zoho CRM. I've logged in. First thing I see is the Home tab. This Home tab is just a collection of lists and filters pulled from the other sales tabs. It's advised that you have things like today's tasks and open potentials in your pipeline and certain contacts in the Home tab. It does not matter. It's completely up to you how you want to customize it. And then this will make more sense as we move forward. So let's start with the lead section. So a lead, I'll define it again. A person, organization, or company that you're planning to do business with. All right, unqualified people. How do you bring in leads into your system? There's three ways, like I mentioned. On the top right, you will see where you can enter data into Zoho CRM, plus new lead on the top right, which is your manual entry. Let's look at that first. So these are the fields. These are just the default fields in our system. You don't have to stick with these fields. You can always remove the ones you're not using and add your own. Notice the fields have different types: phone number field, email field, text boxes. You've got larger text boxes. You've got drop downs. All right. The two most important things I want you to learn in this section and carry over into every other section is you look for the fields in red. Those are mandatory. If you don't have information in one of the mandatory fields, then it's not going to let you save the lead, right? So it's saying last name is still empty. Well, if you don't have the last name, you still have to enter in something since this is a mandatory field. For those who are B2C, you don't have to have company as mandatory. You can remove that. If you're B2B, we advise you to have last name and company as mandatory. Last name must remain, since we don't want you to save a blank lead. You have to have at least one required field. Now turn your attention to ownership. Everything you enter into the system is given an owner. The person who is logged in becomes the default owner every time you try to create a new record. In this case, Patricia Boyle. You can always assign to other people by clicking on the magnifying glass icon, and it allows you to look up other people in the CRM who are users, and you can assign that to someone else. All right, so it's very important you understand ownership in the CRM. All the reports are based on ownership. The other option is importing leads. On Thursday, I'm going to show you a live import of a spreadsheet that you would just click on this page and actually has instructions. But once again, on Thursday, we'll do a live import. So what I'm going to do next is talk about what's on the top left. So on the top left, we call these views. Views can be changed, currently on all open leads. I can scroll down and change them to other views. I can even create my own view from scratch. So if I want to see leads in Texas, that's a view. If I'm the administrator, I'm seeing everyone's data, so I just want to see leads for my support reps, leads for my sales reps. I can make a view. All right, you hover your mouse over the top, click on Create View. Notice if I move to Contacts, we have a very similar page layout. New and Import on the top right, Views on the left. Go to Accounts, same thing again. So you can enter data from any point. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at a leads page. We go to all open leads here, and let's just click on Scott Ferguson. So this is what the filled in page looks like. So across the bottom, you'll see some of the fields are filled out, some of them are not. I can hover over and edit some of these fields and fill them in myself. Or I can move to the top, there's an edit button. If I scroll down, this begins our follow-up. So in our process, we've now entered in or imported our lead. I'm going to follow up with the customer. So for follow-up sections, we recommend using notes. So notice I can just type in the note. I can add a title if I wish. And when I save it, it's automatically going to date and timestamp it for me. And then there is the owner again. So we highly recommend using this section to track your interactions. Then you can also upload attachments particularly directed to a record, a proposal, a contract. Those are some of the things people use. You can pull them directly from your desktop. You can use Zoho Docs, which is one of the other apps we offer. Zoho Docs does have integration with Dropbox, so if you're looking for integration with Dropbox, just use Zoho Docs, pull the Dropbox documents into Zoho Docs, and then pull those into Zoho CRM. Google Drive, self-explanatory. You have your Google Docs in there. You can pull those in our system. And we also have our own Documents tab in the CRM, which you can store documents in. On the Pro Edition, or Professional, sorry, you get 256 megabytes per user to start with. And on Enterprise, you get 512 megabytes per user. This is your storage space on the documents. You can go ahead and upgrade. It's $4 per month per gigabyte. Products, we're not talking about product inventory today, but if they are interested in a certain product, you may add that here. What I do want to focus on is, like I said, just following up. So we'll look at activities next. If you've used Outlook or Google Tasks before or some other task manager, this can be extremely simple to follow. You click on New Task down here, or if you look to the top right, that button is also available there. When you add a new task, you give it a name. That's your subject. You're going to add a due date for your task. And then you can change ownership, you can change priority, and if you're in the paid editions, you can even add reminders. We have both pop-up and email reminders available. Pop-up reminders only happen if you're logged into the CRM, otherwise stick to the email reminders. You can make tasks recurring on certain intervals, and then lastly, you add the rest of the fields. Very important to note on the task, it's determined based on status, so once you complete the task, it's considered a closed activity. Otherwise, it will show up under open activities. So once it passes the due date, when you run your report, you'll know which tasks are overdue for the reps. Using our workflow automation rules, you can trigger tasks. All right, next thing is your event calendar. So you can add events. Notice there's no due date. It's just a start and end time. Subject again, ownership again, reminder again. Recurring as well. Two differences, you can add invitees, which is literally inviting either your lead or contact, like invite Scott to the event, or I can invite other reps at my company or my manager to the meeting. And then in under more fields, notice that there is no event status. So events are not based on status. Basically, when the event end time passes, it's considered closed. Where's your calendar? Your calendar is going to be all the way at the top. On the top right, you click on the calendar icon. You can choose a day, week, or monthly view. And notice you can see your events. There's only one event, and it's on the third here. I can go back and edit the event, delete the event. If I want to make the event today, I can even click on the plus for that particular day and make the event directly from the calendar itself. If you're the administrator, you can see everyone's calendar. The rest of the users, it depends on how you want to set up the sharing. If you want to navigate back to a record you've been recently working on, click on Recent Items and navigate right back. We scroll down again and we look at activities. There's one more called Log a Call. If you don't have a hosted PBX software set up that automatically tracks your calls, we do have some integrations available. Otherwise, on a smaller scale, you can manually track your calls as well. Include the call timer, or you can just put completed call times. You can even add the purpose, the type of call, and the result in our system. If you have mobile reps, this is very, very convenient because you can go into our CRM app and log the call in there. And the time of the call is automatically pulled from your iPhone or your Android phone, and it will be saved in there for you. All right, so it's pretty useful for field reps. I'll go ahead and come back to the email section. So your basic follow-up, notes, tasks, events, and calls, and of course updating fields as you talk to them on the phone. Once this is done, the convert button is here in the middle. When you convert, you're creating an account and a contact, as I had mentioned. The company name becomes account, and then the lead's name becomes the contact. That is your basic flow. At the same point, if you've qualified this person enough to place them into your sales pipeline, you can optionally choose to do that by creating a potential. It will require you to choose an estimated closing date and pick what part of your sales pipeline this particular contact is moving into. This is really open-ended. It's up to you to figure out what steps you want in your sales pipeline. The simplest sales pipeline is open and closed. You can then split the open stages into different groups like we have here. So you can then determine what's close to closing or what's still far, and it helps in forecasting for the month. All right, you have the option to add the amount of the sale as well, and then you convert this person over. At this point, we're going to create an account, a contact, and a potential, and it's going to show you right here what's happening. So I can move now to the account page, which is ACE Worldwide Moving and Stage. And here, I can fill in the rest of the fields for the account. Notice some of the fields, such as employees, rating, website, these all came from the leads page, and they were put into the accounts page. Right, so that's your company information. You scroll down, you can see what's related to this account, so which is Scott Ferguson. This is where the personal information, like their phone number and email goes, or their title. I can scroll down here, I can see that the potential is also here that we're tracking. At the same time, we can navigate right back to the accounts page. So everything is then linked together. Here's potentials again on the right. So I can move between the next three modules very, very easily. And this is going to be now my account and contact management. As a sales rep, I'm going to follow up with the potential and then update this. So once I sent the customer their proposal, then hopefully it moves into negotiation. And then finally, we've closed and won the deal. All right, so that's as basic as you can be about following a sale. Now we'll go a little bit more complex. Notice the probability here. The probability is affected by the stage, and you can set this up using a chart in the setup section. Negotiation shows 90% to close. Closed one will change it to 100. Notice expected revenue also moves along. And now if I look at stage history, you can now see how expected revenue is calculated. It's just amount times probability. So today I moved from proposal to negotiation. So stage duration for proposal was 0 days because I just did it the same day. So it is tracking the duration for you as well. That way you can run a sales summary report and know how long this lead has been in your system. Of course, this is a demo account, so this lead has literally been in our system for over a year. But in the sales cycle itself, it's been 0 days, and then overall it's going to add the two together, and that will show you from lead created date all the way till the end. All right, so these reports can be run overall or per potential. This is very important for your sales metrics and calculating your sales cycle. All right, notice you still have activities, you have notes. All those sections are still going to be there. I can go right back to my contact, Scott Ferguson. The note that I entered in there is still here. Okay, so all the history is following through. All right, so that's basically what we just did, is this flow. All right, moving forward, let's go back now to the contact page. I'm going to show you a few things. So if you look to the top right, here is our global search, and I'm actually going to search for a particular contact. Charles Stone, we'll look for him, and it's going to show up anywhere where Charles Stone appears. So there's 2 matching contacts. So for this particular contact, what we're going to do is scroll down to the email section because there are a lot of emails back and forth here. So I wanted to talk about integrated emails. I mentioned in the first few slides as a pretty important feature in our CRM. So all of you are probably using some sort of email system already. You could be using free email servers like Gmail or Yahoo, MSN or AOL. You could be using paid services such as GoDaddy or Exchange Server or Network Solutions. You might not have one, and we offer Zoho Mail, and you can host it through us. Depending on your email server, you can actually integrate that email server here via POP3, and then all those emails that belong to that person are downloaded and placed into their section. That's one example. I have a ricky@gmail.com. Charles Stone emails ricky@gmail.com. Well, obviously, I can go there and respond to Charles Stone, but at the same time, because of our integration, that email will show up here in Zoho CRM, and I can just click on the email and respond to it here without ever having to open gmail.com in any other separate window. So it's making my life easier by being able to follow up directly in here. Notice I have my signature, I can add images, I can add HTML, I can attach from Google Docs and Zoho Docs, I can add hyperlinks, charts, anything you could do in just any other email system is available. It's just all in one spot. Since my emails are integrated, I can go to the emails tab, and all of my emails are here, which then again, it prevents me from having to open my gmail.com and log in because it's all here. Third thing is, everyone gets maybe 50 to 100 emails a day. What if you just need to find your emails that belong to existing customers? So you have all your Groupons and all this stuff mixed in between, and you just really want to see if Charles Stone responded. We have a neat little feature here called Mail Magnet. Mail Magnet filters your entire inbox and finds only the customers that you've been working on, and it lists them over here on the top right side. That way you follow up with them first. You don't have to filter through all of your emails. You just filter through the Mail Magnet. If this loads. You filter through the Mail Magnet, and you can see those emails directly within our system without having you go to Charles Stone's page or to the Emails tab. Describing the potential section again. So just to reiterate, the potential section is, I would say, the backbone of the entire CRM. Everyone's used to lead management, contact management. It's something that you've done maybe at this company, maybe a previous company. That's just basically calling someone, assigning a call back to yourself, setting up a meeting, adding notes, sending an email. This is the new section if you've never used a CRM. This is the sales tracking. When I'm on the Potentials tab, here's all of my opportunities that are in my pipeline. Some are closed, some are quoted, some are looking at value propositions, some are in negotiation stages. So this is, as a manager, for sales, this is where I can see what's going on. So these are the reports that I'm really going to run every day to see how my company is doing. And that's where the reporting section comes into play. So yes, you can run reports on your tasks, on your events, on your calls, notes added per day, how many leads came in, how many leads were converted. All that information you can gather, right? You can also filter leads, how many leads are in each state, or how many leads are in each status, how many leads came from each source. All sorts of different reporting options available. But the backbone is that you want to see your pipeline. So running these reports that are related to pipeline are probably going to be the most important. So notice we already have a ton of reports already built in for you. So if you haven't used a reporting section before, we've made it easy for you to at least start learning by clicking on reports that already exist. So like pipeline by stage, all this does is splits those potentials into these different stages, and you can get a quick view of what's going on. Most of mine are in the quoting stage, right? I can then filter the date, and I can see in this particular month how many are in each stage, and I can predict my sales for the month. Below, we can also split them into owner. This is a demo account, but otherwise, you would also tell you that so-and-so belongs to this person, to this person, to this person, etc. And then you'll have a nice spreadsheet telling you, how each rep is doing as well. It can sum up the potential revenue for you. You can average out the probabilities. You can organize it by closing date. And then you can even export the report out to Excel, CSV, or PDF format and work on it in another application, or even email it out. In the paid editions, you can even auto-schedule the reports to run for you. So that's one, pipeline by stage. We can look at, for example, lead conversion. There's a very simple report that shows in February 393 leads were converted. In July, 147 leads were converted. Average length, 329 days. So these are all built in for you. You can run it by probability instead of by stage. See, most of mine are in this 75%. So about 46% of my deals are in this 75% to close. Right? Can do leads by ownership. I can see Patricia Boyle has 113 in her name. I can scroll down if there are any other reps in there. It will tell you who owns them. You can look at calls. You can look at task and event summaries. So everything is built in for you to start with, like I said. And then from there, what you can do is just, as you run these reports and you become more advanced, then you can click on Customize. Then you can use this report basically as a template to help you set up different criteria. So in this case, pipeline report stage isn't closed, right? Very simple criteria. What if I only want to look at it for a certain rep? Then potential owner equals so-and-so. If I only want to see it for lead sources that came from the internet. If I only want to see it where these, the billing state is what, Texas and Oklahoma, right? And I can keep adding more and more criteria so that filters out different types of reports for you. You can group the columns together, and you can choose different report types, and then eventually what you're going to do is start building a dashboard. A dashboard is going to show you multiple reports running at the same time, and this is your overview of your company at once. So you click on your dashboard and just see how everything's going. You can have a weekly dashboard, monthly dashboard, do dashboard by sales rep, do dashboard by quarter. We've made it flexible enough where you're going to be able to pick and choose how you want your dashboard to even look. All right, now, if I want to look at a particular section of my dashboard, all I have to do is scroll over one of these bars on this bar graph. So real estate, there are 3 leads in here. I want to see what 3 leads. I just click on that section. It will run the report, and it will point out exactly which 3 these are. All right, so as you see here, this is the report itself. All right, so we're going to look at one more tab, and that is documents. I mentioned before, we make multiple apps. So the documents tab is actually linked directly to Zoho Docs. So I can make documents, spreadsheets, and presentations directly in the CRM. And notice if I try to create a document, I'm going to open up, see here, zoho.com/writer, and here's Zoho Writer. So online document management, collaboration, you can then share these documents as well. So it's basically like an online version of a simple Microsoft Word program, and I can save these in here. Then they will appear in the Documents tab, and I can choose how people share them. And I can also review and revise the document. Who has access to it? who has access to the folders. All right, and then if I already have existing documents, I can just upload the files. All right, so then these documents can be linked to multiple records by going into the record itself, clicking on attachments, and then attaching this, or even into an email. You can click attach for docs, and you can attach these to the actual email itself. All right, now, activities, I mentioned tasks, events, your calls, they're all going to be under the activities tab. So I can go to the filters again, and there are some pre-existing filters such as my open tasks, or today's tasks, which I don't have any, my events, and so I can choose these or create my own. Here's create view right over again. On the right I can add new records. So now the home tab is basically the created by using these different filters. So you saw already tasks and today's tasks, those are pulled from activities. Open potentials is pulled from potentials. US contacts pulled from contacts. These are just different views. Pipeline by stage pulled from my pipeline dashboard, and I just put them all on the front page. So it says you can have up to 5 components. You choose what 5 you feel is most important, and you place them on your home tab. And that is what you will see when you log in every day. All right, so some resources we have available. So we have our webinars. We are currently working on videos as well. And then we have our user guides. You can click on manuals under the help section. Here's our user guide. There's a get started section here I encourage you to read. More webinars to join here. Knowledge base is great once you review the user guide. This is just Q&A for most popular questions. You can also submit tickets to our support team or call our support 800 number. We post updates for our CRM under their blogs. And then you can even follow us on Twitter and Facebook as we constantly update those daily as well. So some resources for you. There are add-ons available for the system as well. So a plugin for Outlook, plugin for Office, integration with Google Apps, those are all available on the Professional Edition. We have our other Zoho apps available you can integrate the CRM with. And then we also have integration with some third-party apps. Some of them are not even on our website. There are some other companies we do integrate with. You can Google them to see if there's an integration available. A lot of third-party consulting companies do make plugins for us, and so you'll see them all over across the internet. So if you have third-party apps, feel free to search the internet for those as well to see if there's an integration available. If not, then you can do a custom integration through the API. All right. If you go under apps and add-ons, you can here see the Google integration setup, and then Zoho Mail setup. I talked about the Mail add-on. This is where you set up your integration. And here's some of our other apps available. Here's where you can download the Outlook plugin. PhoneBridge to connect PBX systems. If you meet the requirements, you can download that plugin. You can access the mobile edition of your iPhone just by allowing access from here. If you want to do mail merge, you can do it through Microsoft Office, and we have a plugin for that. And lastly, a plugin for QuickBooks. And you can test all of these out for your system. In terms of pricing and comparison between the versions, like I had mentioned, the professional version is our most popular. So a lot of people ask which one should I go with. Well, Pro is what everyone usually starts with. Unless you're extremely experienced with CRM and you're going to use a complex automation setup, Enterprise is really not necessarily until you become more of an advanced user. Okay, so going into the pricing page, here's our basic pricing. The key thing to remember is on the Professional Edition, this is where you get the email integration that I mentioned. So it's a huge benefit for your team. You can always click on plan details and see all of the versions and what's available. But basically, if you're new to CRM, you can just start with standard, set up your basics, and then you can add the add-ons by jumping up to professional. One cool thing that we have available is month-to-month pricing that no one else has. We allow you to just pay month-to-month. You don't have to sign a contract. You don't have to commit for a year. It's not required. You can literally just go month-to-month. All right, so there's a lot of other features here listed that I have not talked about. Because the way to learn a system like this is instead of just throwing you to the pricing page and say, okay, what do you need, what do you not need? Well, you might not know what a workflow does or a webhook is or a group sharing is. Just take it one step at a time. So we have this Tuesday webinar, you've learned the basics, now practice. Join Thursday webinar, I'll teach you some more basics in terms of customization and setup. And then from there, you have the fundamentals, you can read the rest. You know, as long as someone shows you the fundamentals, you can always read and learn the rest. We definitely encourage that. We do offer paid training, we offer paid customization, paid consulting, all those services are available. So feel free to read and learn yourself, or you can always ask us for any of these services as well. We do also provide migration services for your existing data. All right, I'm going to open it up to a Q&A session now. Our sales team is available, so feel free to call this number or send a ticket over to sales@zohocorp.com, and someone will reach out to you. And if you're on a trial, you can even chat. And if you want to chat with someone, just go to Help and click on Live Chat. So all the trial users, you have access to live chat. So 3 points of contact for people who are trialing our system. And feel free to send over your questions. Let me see what other questions we have. Rates for customization is dependent per customer, so you have to just contact us, and we have to see how many hours your customization can take. It can be as low as $50 an hour. It can be, honestly, it can be as high as $5,000, depending on how in-depth you need it. So that's hard to really predict. We do migrate from Salesforce. We do that all the time. We're very experienced. We migrate from Act as well. Done it plenty of times myself. On terms of Google Apps versus email integration, so that question, so Google Apps has a lot more to offer than just email integration. It integrates your calendar, your contacts, integrates your tasks, and you can add gadgets to Google. A gadget basically allows you to interact to Zoho from Google. So if you're in your Google Mail and you see a contact and you want to add a potential, you add the potential from Google. You don't have to go into Zoho. It's a small gadget on the very bottom of your page that allows you to interact with Zoho. So it's a big benefit for existing Google Apps users. And someone asked us, where do I set up the Zoho Mail add-on? It's under here, Apps and Add-ons. So Setup, Apps and Add-ons, and then click on Zoho Mail, and you're going to add a new mailbox. You add your Gmail box, Hotmail box, AOL, your company mailbox, whichever, and when you set that up, you're going to need your POP3 server settings, which should be available from your administrator or on the help guide. Like for Gmail, it's on their help guide. Incoming, outgoing server, and port number will be needed, and then you just have to wait a few hours for it to start downloading all your emails into our system. So tracking extra additional income and revenue, you can create custom fields for all of this information. You can make them mandatory. You can create workflows to trigger off when these custom fields are filled in. So Zoho Mail does support Microsoft Exchange, but only through POP3. And in terms of extra cost, the email integration is a part of both Pro and Enterprise. So either the $20 a month per user per month or $35 per user per month. Both those systems include the mail integration. The standard does not have it. So you can just call us directly if you need additional help. Well, we do offer Zoho campaigns as well. It's literally just, it's another email marketing tool, very similar to MailChimp, so you should have no problem picking it up. The biggest advantage of having something like this is because it's Zoho branded, the integration is built in and you don't have to have a third-party plugin. But it does the same thing. If you get Zoho campaigns, you can send weekly newsletters, and then you can use the reporting section to track how many times your newsletter was opened, clicked on, what time it was opened at, how many people opened it, what times it was sent at, where in the world it was sent at, etc. So all that is tracked just like MailChimp does or Constant Contact. It's just our own application. It starts at $10 per month, and that includes 1,000 subscribers. You can go to $25 a month for 2,500 subscribers. It's unlimited emails. All right, and this will integrate all your contacts from Zoho CRM. So you can use autoresponders in Zoho CRM, Enterprise Edition. You can use autoresponders in Zoho Campaigns. So here's your sign-up-based autoresponder based on the sign-up of the date, and then you could just send it off to a certain group that's already signed up. All right, so you have 3 types of autoresponders you can make in Zoho campaigns. Right. A lot of people are asking about, I'm looking at Act in Zoho, I'm looking at Salesforce in Zoho, tell me all the differences. It can take me hours to tell you how many differences there are, to be honest, because our system has hundreds upon hundreds of features. So here's the best way to approach this. Call our sales team. We can send you some comparison docs, but what we really need from you is your own requirements. I can sit here and show you our pricing plan and go through every single one of these features, and I'll tell you if ACT has it or not, but that doesn't mean you're going to use it or if it's of any benefit to you. All you have to tell us is, what's your sales process, what do you want to use, and we can tell you why you would pick Zoho over ACT or over Salesforce. Obviously, you can tell them pricing, we're on the lower end and very affordable, and we also offer more than just a CRM app. We have so many other apps integrated. All right? ACT is really, ACT is in the cloud now, but their primary objective is still on-premise installation, and that's where their strength is. If that's what you need, that's something we can't offer. Salesforce has every feature we have available, but it's built on the enterprise level. A lot of small businesses aren't going to use the other extra hundreds of features that that are in Salesforce, and that's where we come in, because that's our niche, is to set up for the small medium business. And in terms of learning, this is a much easier system to set up. I'm a former Salesforce person myself. This is a lot easier to pick up. If you have never used a CRM, Salesforce is a little bit harder to pick up, but it does the same thing on the end, right? So the better way for you to approach this is figure out your requirements, send them over to the sales team, and they'll have a discussion with you on what system would be the better match. Okay? And our Enterprise Edition has a lot of stuff that it did not cover today. So if you haven't seen something that you see in another application, we may have it, but it might be in our Enterprise Edition, which I didn't even cover. So those are just the extra features that we have again. All right. Contact requirement, if you have Pro or Enterprise, there's no limit in the number of contacts. You can put 1 million in there. There's no limit. The only limit is on Standard, where you're limited to 100,000 records. After the Standard Edition, it's unlimited records. All right, thanks everybody, and have a great day. Bye.